the streets deep with no compassion. Puerto Ricans known for slashing, catching niggas while they sleeping, no relaxing. Keep your eyes open, sharp reflexes. 3 Texas in the Jeep Lexus, just in case police test us. Street professors, terror squad, ghetto scholars, full of clips marked, inflicts the free regard when the metal hollers. Better acknowledge or get knocked down until I'm locked and shot down. Had the beat, couldn't make me put my clock down.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're fired up from that intro. I'm your host, Bald Omni-Man, and I'm here today to share some PRs and give some friendly, helpful training advice based on questions I get all the time from lifters of all levels. Starting with the most important question a man needs to answer: what am I gonna hit on chest day? Now, when Arnold Schwarzenegger or Samir Banu talked about dips being the best thing for chest, they had to have been talking about wide grip dips because they're so much better than close grip dips, man. I'm overjoyed to share that I crushed a bunch of rep PRs, starting off with 90 pounds for 21 smooth reps, followed by 135 for 12, and finally 200 for 4. And for one more bonus, I hit 225 for 2 pretty smoothly as well. The first question that I get a lot is, I feel pain on dips, what do I do? A lot of times it has to do with pain that's in our shoulder joints. And if that's you, just try depressing your shoulders, which looks like this. It's that simple, fellas. It makes a world of difference. So try it out and let me know what you think. I'm on a tear with these dips, which leads me ultimately to a more consequential question. How important is the mind-muscle connection, that feel when you do a movement? Mind-muscle connection, that feeling you get, is a little overrated in my opinion. Contrary to what I just said, it's not important that I feel my pecs more on these dips versus the others. What's important is that I'm moving in a way where the pecs can just do their job better. It just happens to be that my pecs are placed in a better position to stretch and then ultimately recruit and be heavier lifters on the movement. But sometimes, depending on the movement, you can do all that and still not feel the muscle working. Let's talk about back exercises, since that's what I did next and also where I hear this feedback the most. I've been incorporating a lot of pull-ups into my program again lately, and I've been hitting a lot of PRs, but I've never felt my back working distinctly during any of these sets. And I hit a lot of decent sets. I hit 90 for 15 and then 100 for 12, I think, and 3 freaking plates on chest supported rows for volume. So let's investigate. First of all, I say this all the freaking time. It's about elbows and angles first and foremost. 45 degrees is upper back and then flush to your hips is lats. Beyond that though, for rows, you want to squeeze your back, and for pulls, you want to keep your shoulders depressed and engaged the entire rep. And this is 90% of the people that are watching this right now. They just won't feel their back. So what do? You just put your head down and get stronger. It's that simple. Now here's the technical reason. If all that's in place, form, a decent exercise, an appropriate load, all of that is actually a sign that you're right where you need to be. For back exercises, it's honestly really common not to feel anything mid-set, but then feel trashed in the days after the session. My back, for instance, pretty well developed, but I never really feel it mid-set ever. I've only ever seen Alberto Nunez talk about this, but on movements like back exercises or heavy hip hinges, when you're going objectively heavy, your grip, your core, your shoulders, your back, your pecs, your everything, even your head is tensed to the max, and you feel a vague feeling of, oh, this set is hard, but not individual muscles working. What a lot of lifters will do, unfortunately, is just regress the load so much, just chasing that feeling to the point where, yeah, now I can feel my muscles mid-set, but now it's irrelevantly loaded. In short, go off of performance, mechanics, and then just review your form on video and just let yourself get stronger. Try that out, let me know what you think. If you're still looking for more help and making more progress, check out my programs on Boostcamp. I've got free and premium programs that I build out with a lot of quality of life features to keep you on track. All of my programs have been ran by thousands of people and are very highly reviewed. And most importantly, they get people great results. I recommend Raider 2.0 in terms of free programs, and then if you want something that's more guided, Golden Warrior is your best bet. If you're interested, check it out with the link in the description and pin comment and use code OMNI to get 2 weeks of pro only free. And if you're looking for full one-on-one coaching to work with me directly, shoot me an application and we'll talk. In the last episode, I talked about the importance of including low skill movements so that you can just focus on pushing hard. I'm going to hit some high incline Smith press, but I'm also going to bake in another very important topic as well. Are you one of those people where your training program is just, I train everything super hard and that's it? That's never going to be good enough. You can't just do more, because if you could do that, we'd all be benching 7,000 pounds by now. What's almost always better is something that I call push and pull progression. So you can linearly progress something, even with something as simple as a double progression. But while you do that, you have to maintain the performance and numbers on your other stuff. And that works for 2 reasons. 1, it gives you a longer runway on the thing that you want to progress, in this case, the high incline Smith press. And 2, it gives you room to fully master your other stuff before you pile on more weight and reps. And as a final major selling point, if fatigue is building higher and higher and higher with one movement, and you're still able to maintain performance on another, that's actually a sign that you're still getting better, because you take that fatigue away, that second movement that you were maintaining is going to have a massive runway for progress. And that's a simplified way I coach all my people. Adding on further to that, now I'm hitting arms because I pace myself on my dips. I'm able to just push my arm exercises with Oonga Boonga caveman progression because I have a lot more energy to do that. Right now, I'm really loving freestanding barbell curls and preacher curls to do on this day specifically. I don't usually do them on the same day, but when I do, this is how I do it. A helpful reframe to help you with exercise ordering is to think of things in a strength training context, meaning on a powerlifting program, you start off with a bench press and then you do an accessory, because one is the heavily loaded movement and then the other is like a movement to help that movement get better. With the barbell curls, I'm using over double the weight that I can do on a single arm with the preacher curls. So that one's got to be first, right? Now, I don't just do a bunch of sets of the barbell curl sometimes because heavy-ass barbell curls do take a lot out of your bracing. Now, again, it's a curl, so it's not the biggest thing in the world, but if I'm trying to work my biceps a whole ton this workout, I'm just going to sub in with something that still lets me work my biceps, but it's easier to do without getting as tired. Simple as that. Now, hold your horses. Somebody's probably thinking, holy redundancy, these are both supinated curls. Well, I'm here to tell you why that's not always a bad thing, and I'm going to use a Pokemon analogy to tell you why. With this example, exercises are the Pokemon, and then the team is your program. Sometimes a Pokemon, you double up on the same role to double up on something that's good, and it leads to a good team. Much the same, I have the objective of doing 3 or 4 sets of biceps in a supinated pattern. So as long as I don't surpass that, the higher exercise selection works in this context because I'm using that to mitigate fatigue and be able to do more high quality work. Conversely to that, we could also use that budget to not be redundant, which is also good depending upon, again, the rest of your workout. So when my biceps are feeling tender in the supinated pattern, I just throw in a hammer curl. And one of my favorites is the wall supported hammer curl. This is the best way to hammer curl, fellas, because hammer curls are one of the most gamified exercises next to cheat curls, and they just ain't any good the way most people do them. I have a brachialis that pops, especially when my arms are leaner, and hammer curls are the #1 way to do it, in my opinion. Again, this is another low skill movement. My back is against the wall, it's super stable, and I can just grip and rip. In terms of progression, I just use a normal double progression on all of these because, again, I have the energy afforded to just be Oonga Boonga about the progression here. Now, moving on to triceps, I promised you guys an episode in the Save Point series where I'd cover these incline cable overhead extensions. The truth is, fellas, I've had a lot of family stuff going on, and the video that I was supposed to release the day after my last one, it ended up getting pushed back. So today I'm here to give you that episode in the midst of this training session and kind of contextualize it a little bit since we're going to be using it in the middle of a workout. I love these incline extensions because they solve a question that a lot of people have. How the hell do I work the long head of my triceps? And they're also a low skill movement, so you don't have to think too much about what you're doing. Here's how you set it up in 3 steps. 1, you just set an incline bench to about 45 to 60 degrees, whatever works for you. 2, you get a rope attachment. 3, grip and rip. It's that freaking simple, fellas. And that's the beauty of this movement and why I love it more than other overhead work, because you're able to keep your hands and your elbows close together to be able to stretch the long head of your triceps because there ain't nothing in the way. It's just a thin cable that's producing the force. With other movements, either the barbell's in the way or it's just less stable than this movement is. But here's why overhead work matters. Going back to what I said about dips and how putting us in a position to work our muscles better is ultimately what produces that feeling in the muscles that we look for, not an amorphous mind-muscle connection. Overhead work just puts your long head of the triceps in a great position to work. It's that simple. And this movement takes out all the guesswork with technique. The only cue that you need to think of is smush my arms and my elbows into my head. That's all. Another thing I love is that this movement is well tolerated by people who have elbow issues when they do extensions because you're not locked into a specific movement pattern. That being an unnatural position that you're forced to take because of the barbell or the weight being in the way. Lastly, this movement's very synergistic. For one, I can go directly into my favorite lat exercise these days, the cable pullover, with the same exact setup. It's super simple, which leads us into accompaniments or movements that you can use alongside this exercise to make it even better. Obviously, the pullovers are a great one, but you could also use this as a mobility exercise for your thoracic extension, basically your ability to arch your back under load for movements like the bench press, standing press, or even something like a clean pull to a lesser extent. And then lastly, throughout the week, I stagger this movement with press downs just to keep it feeling fresh. Even if the movement feels good on the elbows, tricep tendons, especially attaching into your armpit, can be a little finicky. So I throw in the press downs because they localize a little bit more blood flow by being hardest at the squeezed part of the exercise, while also being muscularly challenging. In terms of progression schemes, you can use a basic double progression. In my case, I do a top set, back off, and then I just double progress each of those. And that's just the 5-head way of saying, look, the first set's going to be heavy, the second and third sets are going to be lighter, and we're going to add reps to each of those sets anytime we can. The main and only mistake to avoid on this is just using a straight bar attachment. That defeats the point of this movement being more free on your elbows to be able to go wherever you need them to. So folks, please try this out and let me know what you think. I know what you're thinking. My gym's too busy for me to do this, but if you're able to set it up, it'll make a notable difference in your training. Moving on to the last section of my workout, a lot of folks have the question, when should I add more volume or exercises? And I just want to talk a little bit about my own process of how I do that. On the last episode, I talked about there being a certain number of tasks that you can do in any workout at any given time. And you can think of those as characters on a team on an RPG. There's only so many you can put on the team before you just run out of room. Now, when I have more energy, that's when I have more room to include more exercises, and that's pretty much what I do. My dips are the most fatiguing exercise on this training day. So when that's lighter, I'm able to do more stuff. So I'll do my deficit handstand push-ups that I love just because they look super sick, and they actually work my shoulders a little bit better than the seated shoulder press. Don't tell anybody I said that. Good buddy of mine asked me how I could progress up to getting those if I've never done them for the first time. The simplest and most automatic way is to just get stronger at other presses. But if you're building from the ground up, deficit pike push-ups are a great place to start. They're the same movement pattern pretty much. You just make them harder or easier by moving where your feet are. Let's say you get 3 sets of 15 on the easiest deviation, and then you make it a little bit harder, rinse and repeat until you eventually just are fully vertical against the wall. That's if you just wanted to get it purely through calisthenics exercise. But in the real world, most of us are just not doing one thing at a time. We're doing a bunch of things, so try both of those out. Both getting generally stronger at presses and just do these calisthenics progressions. And yes, you can add weight to these, but I do recommend that you get a weight vest and avoid potentially bonking yourself on the back of the head with your backpack like I did a couple of times off camera. That's one of the extra things that I add. In terms of what I always do on this workout, I always finish with side delts. It's usually my Boulder shoulder machine, but lately it's been strict lateral raises, which I love even more, and even better, all you need is a pair of dumbbells and a sturdy wall. Obviously the wall keeps your hips and all the momentum out of it, which is stupendous. But a lot of people wonder about how to bias the side delts in a lateral raise. There's 2 things. 1, getting a little bit of traps in a lateral raise is not a bad thing. But 2, if you want to bias the side delts, here's how I like to do it. Basically, the scapular plane is just a 5-head way of saying, hey, we can draw a line from our shoulders outwards, and in this plane, we're not going to feel any pain or discomfort in our joints when we do, say, upright rows or lateral raises. That's the biggest thing and is going to facilitate anything else you do, not hurting yourself while you do it. But in terms of biasing your side delts, something that I picked up from John Meadows is that you just don't need to lock it out all the way all the time. He had something that he called side delt swings that allowed him to use a lot more weight, but also localized a lot more stimulus to his side delt. And what he was doing was skipping the lockout, basically. I don't do that a whole lot personally because I don't care about working my traps a little bit, but if you do, try that out and let me know what you think. But that's all she wrote, fellas. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you're new and you enjoyed the video, let me know by subscribing, liking the video, and leaving me a comment. And if you're a regular viewer, let's pump up those likes in the comments too. And I'd really love for you guys to check out my programs on Boost Camp. Start off with Raider 2.0, and if you need a more premium program, go for Golden Warrior. But either way, make sure you sign up with code OMNI so you get the option of using the premium stuff for 2 weeks for free. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching to work with me directly, again, shoot me an application and we'll talk. Either way, have a great day, folks. Bye-bye.